What's going on, my friends? I hope you're very well. I hope you're having a nice day, nice week, nice start of the week. And today I'm going to show you how I wire, how I take the next step in this project that we started. I was checking my uploaded videos and I realized that we started this little blue juniper project 7 months ago. And you can see that it's, now that the growth of the tree has slowed down, that we're in winter now, and early winter, early start of the winter, we can now take the second step to wire and to give it its first modeling, if you will. Set the shape of the tree for the future. We can see that we got several little branches are now going to be able to be put into place, and that's going to be very it's going to be very good for the design in the end, because we can work with them right now. Okay, you can see that they're nice and flexible. Still, we don't have a lot of new growth on the tree that we can stress or that we can damage when we wire. And so early winter or winter in general, it's a very good time of the year to perform this operation. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I've got the wire here, as you can see. I'm going to get it closer. And another note is that we also have this little pine. This is something that we're also going to do with these little pines that I have right here. Yeah. So I got this little pinyon pine, Mexican pinyon pine, and like the previous one that I show you in the last video where we worked on the mini cedar bonsai, I'm gonna have to do exactly the same thing that I did with the previous one, because the green of the tree and the foliage of the tree is here on the top of the tree, and we have lots of lots of little buds over here, but they're not showing any signs of activity, or they're not growing especially vigorously. We're gonna have to bend it so the design of the tree can get all of this green to closer to the base of the trunk. And so that's something that we're going to also do with this one. Not in this video, I think, but yeah, it's something that we got planned for the future, for the near future, anyway. So let me see if I can just... oh, somebody's puppy got hurt. But anyway, yeah. So we're going to start with this one. And one thing that we can do is start to get rid of those little shoots, those little pieces of growth that are not going to be of any use in the design. We can start to clean it up so that we got a nice clean trunk that we can work with. Yeah. So for example, this is a little tuft of growth that's not going anywhere. Yeah. So it's not growing, it's not elongating, especially not now at the start of winter. If we can see that there is a little piece of foliage that maybe will grow in the future into a branch that we might be able to use in the actual design, then we leave it. We got time. This is a very good opportunity to get rid of dead foliage as well. And yeah, that's the first step of this operation. Yeah. So I think we're there. Yeah, and I'm going to use the same wire that I used with the last little project, the mini cedar bonsai. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this little L shape here. That's going to be the base. Oh, sorry. The base of our loops. Yeah. Let's just get rid of this little guy over here. not gonna stick it in the ground because, like I said, you could damage the root that way. I'm not doing it, but like I said in my previous video, you definitely can if you're already working with a ceramic pot. Ceramic pots are, so strong and so sturdy that you can use one of those little holes that they have to anchor the tree in position, to actually anchor your wire to work on the tree's design. So anyway, we continue to work at a 45-degree angle. Let me just move it a little bit so I can see better. And what we got to do is make sure that, so for example here, we can see that if I were to continue bending exactly in that position, I will be, hurting this little branch over here. This is a very green branch, so this is fairly new. So it's very flexible. Maybe if I were to wire like that, nothing would happen to it, but it would definitely grow in a funny angle, in a funny position. And so we got to make sure that we don't hurt them. We don't hurt the foliage more than we need to. Because whether we want it or not, this is something that stresses the tree to a degree. But if we are careful, the stress to which we subject the tree to is minimal. So let's continue. And I think we're getting there. There we go. I don't know if you're seeing the top because the tripod doesn't go that far back. But yeah, I'm doing basically the same. I'm gonna get you a close-up of the area very soon so you can see. And so we wire until we find that green tip that we actually can't wire anymore. If it's green, then maybe it's not a good idea to continue down that road. Okay, so if you can see here, I'm not the greatest at wiring. You can see that the wire sometimes is not, flush, or it's not directly making contact with the branch or with the little trunk in this case. But I am being very careful and not, covering the shoots with the wires so that they grow in funny positions so that you actually hurt the tree or the shoot, the little branch. So this is absolutely fine. This is absolutely okay. So yeah, I think that we're there, with the wire. So now that it's all wired, it's just a matter of bending it, yeah. And so I'm not 100% sure if this much wire is going to be able to give us the movement that we want. So if not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a second loop of wire so we can bend it into the position that we want. And I think that's going to be the case. So what I have in mind for this little guy is a slanting style. Not the typical informal upright style, but rather a little slanted design. Yeah, a little bit to the side, and the size is going to be like a show hanging size, maybe a bit bigger, but anyway, we'll see how it grows, how it adapts to that shape. Yeah. Oops. There we go. So we continue. To do that, and we do exactly the same thing we did last time around. The second wire, I think it's a bit shorter, so we're not going to be able to wire the whole thing, but it will definitely help us to set the movement in place. Yeah. Okay. I think we're there, and we got, we got the wire in place. Okay, so now what we do is carefully distribute the amount of strength that we put into the little trunk, and we can go slowly, nice and slowly, and we stop when we hear anything that resembles the sound of a crack. So look at that. Nice. Okay. It's a nice idea to, make a 3D movement. I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well, but you don't want an S shape. You want something that goes to the back, then turns around and then comes back to the front, and that's a very, very nice movement. That's something that I always do. I try to not only give like an S shape, but also have interesting movements when it comes to saplings and very young trees that get wired, or that I wire personally. Let's continue that same idea. So we go that way, to the back, if you will, and then we continue to the front. One very interesting thing about this juniper species in particular, I've mentioned before, and I think I've told you, this is a juniperus prostrata, or some sort of juniperus prostrata, some cultivar species in particular, but I'm allergic to it, so in a couple of minutes I'll start to get all itchy, in my hands and on my arms, forearms. Yeah. Let's continue doing what we're doing. I think I'm gonna use this video as an opportunity to ask you guys on your opinion about a particular project in my collection. I think is actually the mother plant when it comes to this little this little blue juniper. This is a little guy that I took from cuttings, and so the mother plant, or the tree that I took this cutting from, is actually a larger bonsai project that I'm working on. I think I've shown you that plant before, and so now I'm getting to the point where I gotta make some choices, some decisions when it comes to the shape of the tree, and in particular with one branch that I'm really not sure what to do with it. You know, maybe I'll keep it, maybe I'll air layer it. I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest with you. And so when we finish with this, I'm gonna ask you your opinion. Any comments, anything will be greatly appreciated. And so I don't know, let's see. We can see that it's definitely slanted, and it's going to, be like this. But I think we move the foliage a little bit over here. That's going to be interesting. So maybe we move it like that, and then it goes back, and then again to the front. Yeah, I think that's nice. So you see how it goes like that, and then yeah, that looks kind of cool. Yeah, so that's it. We're not going to worry about cutting, about pruning or anything right now, because the tree is it's had one operation too many. No, not too many. It's a very good idea to work in in layers and progressions. So if you already wired it, maybe depending on the species, it's not a very good idea to continue stressing the tree further, but it's a very good idea to continue taking care of it, being very careful with it, so that the tree recovers from that stress, and then you think about the next operation in the process, in the development of the tree. So that's pretty much it, I think, for this little guy. In the coming videos, I'm going to show you what I do with this little pine that I show you first. And now the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that bonsai that I'm working on, but I don't know if I should cut or air layer when it comes to that branch that I told you about. So yeah, this is it for this little guy. I'm going to keep you posted on its development, and that's something that you can do if you started 7 months ago, just like I did with your projects. So the second step is to wire when the tree is not actively growing, so that you don't hurt the new growth, and so that you give the tree time to keep this movement, to keep the movement that we give the tree and the trunk with the wire. So coming spring, next spring, maybe when we see that the tree started to grow and grow and the wire is started to bite into the tree, then we remove it, and by that time we will see that the new movement, or the movement of the trunk, will be completely permanent. The grow will be set, and then we will worry about wiring the next step, or the branches, the side branches of the tree. So we finished with this one. So let's take a look at that bonsai tree that I told you about. So let's go. Anyway, so this is the mama or the papa, however you want to call it, but from the little tree that we just worked on. Yeah, and so I've shown you this tree before. As you can see, it has a lot of old foliage that we had to get rid of. So like I was saying, this is a tree, and you know, apart from some of the little things that we still have to work on when it comes to detail work, the main branches are already in place, even the ones that we have up top here. Yeah, so we got little branches like this one, but we also got branches that have already been placed there with wire. So like this one, for example, back branches as well. You know, it's a fairly finished tree. You know, as usual with bonsai, you know, it's a working process, and I still gotta do a lot of things. But I digress. The thing that I wanna talk to you about is this branch right here. You know, on the surface, this might look like the main branch. It's grown like this for a couple of years now, and you know, it's got some dead foliage, but the structure of the branch is in place. I'm working in getting it to grow as a pad now, and you can see that with a little bit of pruning, this will be very good. But one thing that I don't like is the start of the branch, if you will. You know, how it joins the main trunk. This one. You know, this little straight up movement here is straight, like a 90-degree angle straight. Yeah, and so I don't like that. You know, so for example, this one right here, it's got a little bit of movement. It looks a bit more natural, but this one, it's like I don't know. I wore it into position, but junipers and conifers tend to grow upwards, and so I think that's exactly what happened with this little guy. You know, it had a little bit of movement, but because of the sun, it started to grow upwards, and now it's completely flat. So there are two things that I could do. One, remove it, you know, turn it into a gin, or completely remove it, air layer it, because I'm going to use all of this foliage. I'm not just going to waste it. And yeah, just have this as the main branch, and then continue to grow this one, and then the tree will be complete. And another one would be to just bend it, you know, use heavy gauge wire, try to give it a little movement, and, you know, improve the overall look of the tree. The only problem with that is that a couple of years ago, almost 2 years ago, I lost this branch. Yeah. And so if I move this, it doesn't matter, because still I will have this little empty space, not little, but very big empty space where that branch used to be. And so I don't know, maybe I was thinking about covering this side of the tree with growth from this branch here, or maybe a little bit from this branch and then wire it like this. I don't know. For me, it will be like cheating. So what do you guys think? You know, I kind of have like a general idea of what I'm gonna do, but still, like I've said so many times before, I'm a beginner. You know, I'm still learning. And any comment, an opinion, or advice will be greatly appreciated. What I intend to do is air layer this, you know, and continue with this foliage over here, you know, continue that as a tree. But still, I don't know, it would be very good if we could, you know, talk about it, brainstorm it. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching. I know this is a very long video, and maybe what I did was nothing out of the ordinary, or not very interesting or particularly special, but you know, I like uploading these videos. You might have noticed that I've monetized my channel, and sorry if you don't like that, but I thought it would be an interesting way to keep it going. And the money that I make I'm not gonna get rich, you know. But what what I intend to do is use the money, the little money that I make, and investing in more projects, more bonsai projects, you know. So I intend to buy plants and buy pots and this and that, so that we can continue growing as a community. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around till the end of this video. And as usual, if you have any comments, questions, or anything, drop them down below. I'll see you pretty soon with the next one. Okay, so bye.